This is Lee with 82 Game of 12 here on YouTube channel Sons of Liberty 75. And we've got Glory and Empire, First Victories, Wellington versus Napoleon. Lock and Load Publishing. Designer Terry Dougherty. This is the 1240 turn of the Vimeiro battle, scenario 4, your plan. The last video we had the French phase up through movement. And so now we have the close combat phase. But before that, we have to do the reserve movement. I did not do the reserve segment, which has to do with reserve order phase, reserve command status phase, and then the reserve movement. And the only thing that we have is Ackland, who's back here. Now, he's got a range of 3, so none of his units are in his command, which means they still be able to activate just at a reduced rate. And his number is 8. So, but I believe his units are kind of in a position where some of them really, they can't really move or go anywhere because, well, here's one right here. And he could fall back to this where this artillery's at. But there's already 2 artillery units there. And they would get fired on. And that might just be what they want to do. Yeah, they could fall back, but Let's see. Here we go. So yeah, they're gonna fall back. To where those artillery units are at. So we close up here. So this right here is the unit we're talking about. So they're out of command. So they only have, I think they only have a movement of 3. Yeah. It costs 2 to move out of the zone of control. They've got their skirmishers, so they can fall back with the protection of the skirmishers. So, plus, any units that move into that hex, or those 2, it would basically free up the firing arc of that artillery. So that's what's going to happen. So I've got to roll this these units, this unit here with skirmishers, and they've got skirmishers, will fire right here. So that's going to be 2 separate rolls, and so it's just going to be strength of 0. So a 73 will be a morale check. And they rolled a 27, which is a fail. So they will go to disrupted, disorganized. I keep saying disrupted. That's just another term other games use. Disorganized. And I'll have to use a, so this green signifies that. And now the other stack that has the assault marker fires. They rolled a 15, so no effect there. And now this whole stack here was going to end up being disordered. So they back up to there. Skirmishers will be back into the parent organization because they move to the rear, and then That out of the way. All right, so that's what happened there. We do have to put this up here. And let's see here, where's the rest of 8? Okay, so these guys are disordered. And they're in column. Well, that's the only 2 units that Ackland has left. He's lost 2 units. So they could try to go to line. They'll have to roll, and they could become shaken. But they could put out a skirmisher. I think they'll just do that to start with. They're just going to put out a skirmisher. And then Ackland's going to come join them. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see, what does it cost for a leader? Okay, just a +1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Across that manor. River. +2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, they can make it pretty easily. All right, that takes care of the reserve movement. Now we can go to the combat segment, close combat segment. And we have cavalry charges first. And I don't recommend to do anything with that unit. Okay, so we've got this charge that's going to take place. Right here. So we've got these Portuguese units. See, they should have had to come out of square. Well, maybe not. What did I decide to do there? I think I did force them out of square. I don't think I saw anything about whether or not units that are in square well, I guess they stay in square because it says units entering the disorder state are marked with a disorder marker. Facing and formation, units in disorder retain the same facing and formation as if they were in the normal morale state. Okay, so that answers my question. So they stay in square. Which means these guys here would stay in square. Okay. Now this guy here is not in square. So yeah, that'd be a pretty tough thing to attack. don't think. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to go to here. That's 1. Okay. Now, Heel here doesn't know who we're going to charge him, so they are going to go to square. So they've got a +5. Okay. The unit they're reacting to is 3 X's away. So that's a 0 modifier. Formation change. Okay. All right, so let's roll to see if they pass. Oh, rolled a 14, so they fail. Okay, so they become disordered and do not go to square. So that becomes the target. Oops. Okay. Let's get a little closer here. They move to there, and then they move to there. So, that, and then that. With the skirmishers get to fire. So they're going to have a strength of 1, -1 for being disordered. So that's 0. Firing at cavalry in line is +1, so they've got a strength of 1. An 81. Strength of 1, 81. It's a morale check. And the French rolled a 29, which is a fail. So they become disordered. Okay. All right. And now we go through the charge process. So we don't have an empty target hex. We don't have retreat for combat. Okay, combat versus infantry and artillery. We check defender morale check. All right, so now okay, so the target's not in square. Target does have a skirmish marker. So they've got a -10. And the CVM is a 2. So that's going to be -10. So now we're at -20. And they're just ordered. So that's -5 more, so -25. Heel provides +5. Let's put this back here. There. And then heel. So we got a -20. They rolled a 9. Okay, so they failed. So they will have to move back. Okay, so they are shaken. Forced back. Now, that cavalry unit has to move in there, and as they move in there, they're going to be fired at by both of these stacks here. So we'll fire with this stack over here first, and strength is going to be a 1, but +1 due to the fact it's cavalry. So we've got a strength of 2. Ooh, a 98. Okay, that's going to be morale -15. Okay, so that's going to cause them to be shaken. So they will be forced back. And then we have the other stack here. Okay. And see, they've got a strength of 9. No, 7. So that's a strength of 2. -1 for being disordered. So they're at 1. Firing at cavalry, +1. So they're at 2, but they're firing into their flank. So that's 2. So that's 4. 21 is no effect. Okay. So they're forced back to there. They're spent. And they're disordered. No, they're shaken. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Now we go to assaults. We pull back. We've got several assaults here. We've got this assault that has no unit there now. And we have these 2 units assaulting this target, hex. And then we've got another assault over here. All right, so let's start with the one that the assaulting units are no longer there. So that's going to be right here. And this here's the hex they're going in. Okay, so we have right off the bat, we have the empty target hex. Units that are automatically eliminated by assault are removed now. Units that automatically retreat do so now. Okay, retreat before combat. Eligible units select to retreat, conduct a retreat, and enter disorder if in a normal morale state. And then assaulting units in a normal morale state enter disorder. Assaulting units must advance after combat into the empty target hex. They may attempt a follow-on assault. If they cannot not, or they elect not to, proceed to finish. So they now move into this hex. Okay, but prior to that, we've got this artillery here that can rotate. Okay, and then fire. Because they're leaving a hex, a frontal hex, 2 hexes away. Okay. Artillery has an extended reaction zone. So that's going to be, they have a strength of 2. So strength of 2 that is ordered. So they have a strength of only 1. It's going to be a canister. That's +3, so we're at 4. And then the target has skirmishers, so now we're at 3. They're in column, so we're at 4. And the strength is 6. So, okay, no modifier there. So we're at 4. 17, no effect. So they can move in there. And we've got a follow-on charge. Okay, so follow-on charge. We go back to the top and just work our way down. So we've got attacker morale check. Now they are disordered though. See if I have a, yeah, there's one. So they are disordered. Okay. And they've got a skirmisher. So 37. Okay, we got a 22, which means they're going to fail. So they're going to be forced back because they're now shaken. And they're going to get fired on by that artillery again. And so, still going to be the same. So it's still going to be a strength of 4. They had a strength of 2, -1 for being disordered. So they have a strength of 1. Skirmisher brings it to 0. Canister is 3, and then column is 1. 29 is morale check. French rolled an 80, so they passed. So, okay, so that ends that assault. Okay, so then we pull back and then close back into this assault where we've got 2 units that are attacking this these 2 units here. So what we've got is we've got the SCD units, and then we have underneath there we've got infantry. So put them like that. Okay, so we've got a morale check, attacker morale check. I've got two stacks to check morale. So I've got this stack here, and we've got this stack here. And Delaborde is leading the 1 stack. So that's a +8. Okay. But even with Delaborde's +8, I rolled an 8. So they will be disordered. And then the other stack, I rolled a 14, so they're going to be disordered as well. Which means they don't get well-directed fire for either one. Okay. All right. Now the defender has to check morale. Okay. Now, they are being assaulted from the flank and also from more than 1 hex, so that's going to be -30. It's going to be defender has SK units. All right, and at least 1 assault is from the front hex, so it's just going to be a -20. That gives them a +10. So -20. Okay, rolled a 52, which becomes a 32. Okay, and the top unit has a 31. so they would pass. Yeah, let me check this because, let's see here. I think it's just going to be the top unit that has to so they passed. So they get well-directed fire. But the well-directed fire can only be directed toward this unit that's in the front hex. Front hex. Not this one. So, okay. Okay, remove skirmishers markers from attacking and defending stacks. So to me that means this unit here has to flip over and go to the rear. Okay, so we have a strength of 3. Well-directed fire is +2. And they're firing against a unit in the column. So they're at 6, strength of 6. Rolled a 60. So morale -10. Because this is defensive fire, during an assault, that's -20 more. So that's -30. And Delaboard will add 8, but they are disordered, so that's -5. This SCD has to be gone. Okay. So it ends up being a -3 or a +3. So to the die roll. So that becomes a 47. Okay, but they've got -20. So yeah, they're gonna fail. Okay, and they go 2 morale states down, which means they will break and are forced back and they're going to go right through this guy. So they go 1, 2, 3. They're broken. And then this unit here, this unit has to roll. And they break. So 1, 2, 3 to back there. So they break back to there. Right here. Okay. All right, but we still have this unit right here. So we get rid of the skirmishers. Okay. And then they get to now fire. And in column, strength of 1. Disordered -1, so they're at 0, but then they're firing into their flanks, so they've got a strength of 2. 68. It's going to be a morale check. And it's not, they don't get well-directed fire, but it's still going to be 2 morale state losses. So they rolled a 13, so they're going to be shaken. I don't have any more. I got to use one of these markers. So however, okay, they're not able to retreat to that hex. They cannot retreat into this hex here because this unit here is in column, and that is a front hex. That's a zone of control. So they've got to go through this hex. And let's see. That's 6. And that's going to force that whole entire stack that whole entire stack to go to shaken. Come on. Shoot. Dadgummit. Oh, no, hold up. All right, so and then that unit can advance and do a follow-on charge. So they can actually turn like so. And do a follow-on charge against this stack. So we have the follow-on charge. Attacker morale. They've got a 36. Disordered, -5. They rolled a 60. Show you that's a 36. So they passed. Okay. And then that stack is being assaulted from the flank, which is -30. Okay. And they rolled a 62, -30, gives them a 32. They're shaken. So 22. So +4. It's not going to be enough. They're actually going to break. So the whole stack breaks. And ends up retreating 3 axes. So get the stack here. And they're going to be in column now. Well, when they come out. I won't worry about that right now. When they come out, they're going to be in column. Let's see, this guy was here. And so this guy here can move up to here. Okay, then we have this other assault here. And of course this guy is he's just going to be captured. He has to retreat. Because, okay, shrub is light density. Okay, skirmishers have to retreat. Let's see if it says here on the bottom of this. Those SED units. Okay. Okay, company size infantry units in SED formation must retreat before assault in all terrain except post Texas. Well, that's a company size, not a battalion. So they are forced to retreat, but there's they can't retreat into a zone of control, and so they are just eliminated. So 6, 5, 6, 8. And then these guys move in. They become disordered. And that's where we're at. So we pull back. And we see that well, when this guy let me get rid of that. Okay. So as we can see, things don't look so good for the British. They've got riding units in here, a broken unit, shaken. All of these guys are disordered. Lasona needed to move him somewhere. Move him there, I guess. So British can keep pushing hard to try to possibly outflank, but they've got there's a danger of the two forces being split right up the middle. With most of these guys over there on the left flank in square, and all around Vimeiro, there's a lot there to plug the gap. So the French had some artillery fresh. They could send them right into here, bypass the Vimeiro and try to hit these guys over here, or even on this other side in disorder. They wouldn't be able to go to square. But all of their cavalry's over here on this far right flank of theirs. But Wellesley's got he's got a problem to solve here. He's got Crawford. This is Crawford's units right here. That if he uses them to plug over here, then he's going to have a gap here that they're going to separate and divide these units here from these units. So the thin red line is, I think, about to break. We'll have to wait to find out. So, and what was Ferguson's brigade are going to be leaderless this next turn. So the next couple of turns could be a make or break for the British. They do have a few reinforcements to enter. They've got these 3 units. 10 strength points, infantry. And they come in at D. So no, that ain't right. Where do they come in at? Oh, those are not British. Those are French. Those are French reinforcements coming in. Yeah, that's French reinforcements. So, yeah, they don't have any reinforcements. Wow. And they actually come in way over here on this other, way over here. Where they're coming in. Probably down this road, one of these two roads there. So, there have to be in like road column or something to be able to even get to the battle to have any effect. So, come on back, see what happens. Looks like the British are in a pickle.